the defender of the week, the Tiger of Nanigawa, Rocky. Yo, welcome back to the Bombs with Expensive Taste. Me, host Ippo, and I'm back again with another character analysis video. This time, Takeshi Sendo from Ippo. We know him as Takeshi Sendo. Some people know him as Rocky, as his fan base calls him. They call him also Nanigawa Tiger, the Tiger of Naniwa, the Mexican killer. That's the new one that he got after taking down his fourth Mexican before the Alfredo fight. So yeah, let's jump right into it. You're gonna love this one.
Also, before we get into it, please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. I mean, you can share it later, but like, comment, subscribe, and check out the rest of the video. Enjoy.
Sendo is one of those characters that when you see him initially, like, you know you're gonna be, like, he was created for you to love. He has the personality, he has the charisma, everything going for him. And we find out in his backstory, he had the one shot, which I believe is called the Tiger of Naniwa, which shows him growing up. Like, he lost both his parents and he was raised by his grandma. And ever since as a kid, like, he's always been that guy that, like, stood up for the younger ones. Like, even his classmates that were weaker than him, he stood up for them. He fought against, like, high schoolers while he was in middle school, and he made quick work out of them. The first time the coach saw him, he was fighting these kids. He's a brawler, right? Like, if you were to compare him to anyone, like Takamura, he's kind of a genius in his own way. Like, he is actually a genius in his own way. He's fighting genius, right? And there's a lot for him to refine, essentially. And once he joins the gym, we see a spirit out of him. Like, he wants to compete, and it's not just, oh, I'm content with just eking by or creaking by. No, he wanted to be the best, which, again, reflective of Takamura. But Sendo, according to what we saw from his teacher, she mentioned how Sendo, although he had a lot of people around him, he never had someone that he saw as his equal, as his best friend, essentially. And that was the role that Ippo came to serve, which now I guess I have to go into Ippo. Ippo is one of those characters for Sendo that serves as a crucial point, like a person that, like, reformed Sendo in such a way. Like, the first time they met was when Sendo came down to Tokyo to meet Ippo. He wanted to convince Ippo to fight in the Rookie King fight. Although Ippo could not fight because after his fight with Mashiba in the final, he was hurt and he could not fight as the champion of the East to fight against the West. So, like, Sendo came to convince him, and he was like, he doesn't think either or is going to change. And we saw Sendo spar, and Sendo was truly a monster. He wanted to spar against Takamura, and, like, although yeah, Takamura did quick work out of him, like, it was easy, soft business, but still, like, Sendo showed something special. And Sendo showed a kind of heart that you don't really see, and that heart really showed up in his fight with Ippo. His fight with Ippo is probably one of my greatest fights in the manga, in the anime. Like, his fight with Ippo, it began, like, we know, because they formed a quick friendship bond, like, immediately they met each other. But the fight, there was heart, there was character. Ippo really wanted to fight that one. He had the anesthesia shot. The fight definitely lived up to it. Like, even the crowd, I think Ejidate was in the crowd, and he was like, this is not a fight for rookies. And they put in the work. They went in there, and it was a beautiful fight. Once they were fighting, like, Ippo he didn't have his Dempsey roll in the first fight. Sendo had his smash. It was beautiful. Like, there's nothing more to say. If you haven't seen it, like, that's one that I don't want to give you spoilers for. You should definitely watch it. But either or, you're gonna know, like, the results were, that was spoiler, not spoiler, but, like, actually spoiler. That was Sendo's first loss. And the way it was executed, like, it was perfect. Sendo was this up-and-coming star. Sendo has 6 fights, 6 wins, and 6 knockouts. Very similar to Ippo. Ippo had the same record. So, like, this was promoted as a heavy hitter match, heavy hitter fight. Ippo versus Sendo, both heavy hit punchers. And this fight definitely delivered to that, because, like, Ippo, he got punched by Sendo, and he was like, is this the kind of punch that people receive when I punch them? Like, it shook him, and Sendo felt the same too, and he was like, this was literally what I wanted. So they fought. It was a beautiful fight. Sendo lost. Ippo became the Rookie King. Ippo went on to fight Ejidate, which, spoiler again, Ippo lost against Ejidate, but Ejidate, like, left the belt. Ippo was first seed at that point, So it was Sendo, which was second seed, versus third seed Volg. Both interesting characters. Both of them, Ippo has fought against them, and they've both lost against him. Ippo was injured, so he could not fight in that title match, but they fought against each other, and this was another amazing fight from Sendo. Sendo came in there, he gave it his all. Both fighters put in work for that fight. Although Volg lost, Volg went on to do great things. I would talk about him in another video. But Sendo ended up winning that championship, and he became the champion of Japan. Ippo, when he was making his comeback, before he made his comeback, Sendo had a couple of fights, and Sendo made a point to show he is not the same Sendo that lost. There was a fighter called Seki that gave Ippo quite a bit of tough time earlier on. He's a speedster. Sendo took him down in 1 round. Sendo was becoming a monster. Even the coach mentioned it. In his fight, his rematch with Ippo for the championship, at this point Ippo has gotten the Dempsey role. And the Dempsey role is an era-defining move, right? It's a showstopper. And Sendo has essentially perfected his smash. His smash is a thing of beauty. So we came in watching to see, because Ippo, although they were fighting, he never felt he won the other fight because of how it ended. They fought this one, and at the end, Sendo got his second loss. And so at that point, Ippo became champion. Sendo we didn't know what he was doing. He took a bit of hiatus to recover and everything. And after that, he took down a few Japanese boxers. Then man started going on the prowl. He started taking down Mexican boxers. He became the Mexican killer as he's known. Eventually, which culminated with the sparring partner of Ricardo. No, sorry, the gym partner of Ricardo, which is, I believe, he was the Mexican champion. Sendo took care of him. Then that led to the fight of Alfredo. Alfredo, the reason he took on the fight for Alfredo partly was because he wanted revenge for Ippo. Ippo lost against Alfredo, so he wanted to get revenge for that, and that he did, because that was a brutal fight. And the fight had the contingency of whoever won that fight has a guaranteed fight against Ricardo. Before that, we saw Sendo spar with Ricardo, and he was the first guy to get a knockdown on Ricardo. Even though it was a spar, that was the first knockdown Ricardo has ever gotten in his career. At this point, there's a lot of hype. Ricardo is essentially a god in the verse. Alfredo looked up to Ricardo, and Alfredo really wanted to get his rematch with Ricardo, and Ricardo said whoever won that bout is going to get his guaranteed shot against Ricardo. So they fought the fight. It was a brutal fight. Sendo won, and it is as gorgeous as you would imagine. Even though it was an amazing fight, he won fair and square. Alfredo retired after that, but we'll do another video on Alfredo. Ricardo decided not to go with the fight against Sendo. He went with another fight against someone else, which is currently happening in the manga. So yeah, that's what happened with Sendo, and so far it seems like Sendo's goal is he wants to become the world champion, essentially. Take down Ricardo, become the world champion. And he said he does not want to fight Ippo, even though Ippo is currently retired, but he said he didn't want to fight Ippo until he meets him at the top, because Ippo has all the 2 losses he has is by Ippo, and he's there's no point in me collecting the third one at any point. Let me just get to the top and we're gonna fight it out at the top. So yeah, there's a lot of things about this character that you just have to love. He's a lovable character, and his personality is amazing. His backstory is tear-jerking but still phenomenal. Morikawa definitely hit a home run with this one. Anyway, that has been our Sendo video. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Thumbs up.